Do you hear the word no more than yes when it comes to sales? Well, let's give you 3 easy steps that you could start using to overcome any sales objection. Hey, by now, hopefully you watched my video on the 5 sales training essentials that you should absolutely have just as a baseline when it comes to being a great salesperson. But let's drill down on this video on how do you actually overcome all of these different objections that most people hear in sales. Because at the end of the day, you always hear no more than you hear yes in sales. And I don't care how great you think you are, you always hear no more than yes. And so you just want to be prepared on what to say back to a customer the next time they say no to buying your product or service. And I know what you're thinking. Hey, there's a ton of objections. Like, how do you navigate all these different ones? The truth of the matter is there's only one real objection. And this is the most important thing you need to understand about objections. You see, the only real objection in sales is money. It's always the money for a customer. And again, you might be saying, but Corey, I hear things like, I want to think about it, or I got to talk to my spouse, or I want to shop around. Yeah, I know you hear these things. It's still really only the money. Hey, let's say the next time someone says, I want to think about it, you simply reply with like, hey, it's free. What I'm giving you is free. Do you still need to think about it? No, which means it's always about the money. None of these other objections would exist if your product or service was free. And so here's step number 1 in overcoming any sales objection. It's pretty simple. Show empathy. Here's how it sounds. I understand. It's that simple. Step number 1, check. Hey, I want to think about it. Hey, I totally understand where you're coming from. I want to talk to my spouse right now, Corey. Hey, I understand. You know what? Right now, I just want to shop around. Hey, I understand. Just let a customer know that you're listening to them. Imagine that. Active listening. You letting them know that you understand, it means you're allowing them to know that you're actively listening, thus building more trust and rapport with that customer. So let's move on to step number 2. You're simply isolating the objection. Even though you and I know it's the money, I want the customer to admit it. And so let's show you how easy it is. In this example, let's pretend you're, touring a gym. You're considering joining it. You had a great tour. The salesperson walked you all around. It had everything you could possibly imagine in a gym. And they sit you down and they pitch membership option number 1. At which time you say, right now, Corey, I just want to think about it. Here's how you use step number 2. You first show empathy. Hey, I understand. Hey, just so I understand a little bit better though, was it something having to do with the tour or any of the amenities that this gym offers you? Or was it, in terms of giving you more hesitation, membership option number 1 that I recommended to you, which was like the reason why you're not really ready to get started today? And when you present it with 2 scenarios or 2 choices, it's usually about the money because they're going to respond with something like this. Actually, the gym, Corey, was great. It had everything I could see myself doing here, especially helping me to achieve my fitness goals. It was really membership number 1. The price point is a little out of my budget. There it is. They were admitting that it had to do with their own budget and the price point of that particular recommendation. And so once you know that, it's so simple to move into step number 3, which is find a solution, for Christ's sake. Hey, if that membership was too pricey, let's get them on a different membership that fits into their price range. Here's how it sounds. Hey, so now that I understand that it was membership option number 1, what a lot of our members do is they actually start with membership option number 2. It's much more affordable and it allows you to still use the gym and all the amenities here. Why don't we get started with that? We could always upgrade to number 1 if you feel like you need those extra amenities. So how does that sound, Corey? That's it. 3 simple steps to overcome any objection. Always start with showing empathy. Always get them to admit what the real objection is, which is the money. And just whatever their objection is in terms of their price point, find a simple solution. As long as you can do that, you can overcome any objection. And by the way, it doesn't mean that someone's still going to say yes, but it does mean that they might reconsider their previous no. And if you can do that in sales, you'll convert a lot more people into paying customers.